Hey Dragon Slayers, today's video is about what are effective reps when it comes to resistance training. So, the single most important resistance exercise variable is intensity of effort, placing the highest possible tension in your muscles for the longest possible duration. For this reason, the repetitions closest to failure are the most effective. Imagine that push ups are fairly easy for you, and you can bang out like 30 or so push ups without too much trouble. And all your time, your max is 40. So, how much value are you getting for the first 10 or 20 push ups? Pretty much none. If you decide to just do 20 push ups a day forever, you might prevent yourself from getting weaker at pushing movements, but you certainly aren't going to get any stronger. But what about those reps closer to failure? Once you have completed 30 push ups and you are trying to beat your all time record of 40 in a row, things start to change. As you get closer and closer to 40, you struggle more and more. You are placed you are placing the highest amount of tension you possibly can in all of your pushing muscle fibers for as long as possible. As you approach your 40th push-up, your rep speed gets slower and slower as you fight and struggle to maintain this muscle tension for as long as possible. Finally, shaking and sweating, you manage to get halfway to 41 before you can even move another millimeter. You hold there, and now, so you hold there halfway up until gravity overtakes you. You slowly sink down, your chest back to the ground. Now, this is true demand training. Your body got the message loud and clear, and you are demanding that it give you more strength and endurance next time. But what about the first 20 or so push ups? Turns out they were really just there to deplete your muscle fibers of energy, to get you closer to failure. What if there was a way to waste less time with the early reps farther away from failure and spend more time near the end of the set where the reps are the most difficult and therefore the most effective? Well, there are a couple of ways to accomplish that. First of all, you can choose a more difficult push up variation. Someone who can do 40 push ups can probably do maybe one single arm push up on each side, left and right. Why not go straight for the single arm push up and hit failure on the very first rep? You could actually try this. The problem, however, with something so incredibly difficult that you can only do it once is that you have a much higher risk of injury with something like that. That's not advisable. You don't want to hang out in a one rep range. You're not trying to be a power lifter, and you definitely don't want to get injured. And that is the very first rule of exercise, right? Don't get injured. Ideally, you want to choose a difficulty level where it isn't so hard that you can only do one rep, but it isn't so easy that you could do 40 reps before things even start to get interesting. Now, you could actually build muscle successfully only using super hard exercises with one rep maximums. And you could also build muscle successfully with super easy exercises with 50 rep maximums. But the reality is that the 1 rep max exercise is likely to lead to injury, while the 50 rep max is going to waste a ton of your time. Time is your greatest resource, and injury prevention is your greatest rule of exercise. So neither of these is going to work. In a perfect world, you would target an exercise that is just easy enough so you can do at least 5 repetitions with good form, but just hard enough that you fail by the time you get to 10 repetitions. Again, with good form. This 5 to 10 rep range is not all an absolute requirement by any stretch, but it is something to aim towards, as it is nice compromise between the potential for injury with harder variations and the potential for wasting time with easier variations. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. You can also support me at Patreon. The link is in the description below. And remember, guys, together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.